If you overlook these signs, you may miss your last chance to say goodbye. Hello, my name is Dr. Hoshino Daisuke, a geriatric specialist with over 30 years of experience treating elderly patients in hospitals across Tokyo and Okinawa. Throughout my career, I've seen more than 2,000 elderly individuals pass away, many peacefully, surrounded by family. But I've also witnessed hundreds who slipped away quietly, unnoticed, and alone, while their families, unaware of the signs, carried on thinking there was still time. And today, I want to share with you one story. A story that still weighs heavy on my heart, even after decades of walking with people through life's final chapter. The story of Keo-san and the untouched napkin. Keo-san was 83, a joyful woman with a soft laugh. She loved wearing yellow sweaters and always smiled when her grandchildren came to visit. 6 months before she passed, her daughter, Akemi, brought her to my clinic. She's been eating a little less, napping more. But she still walks around, so I'm not too worried, Akemi said. We ran tests. The results showed mild anemia, slight weight loss, nothing urgent. Everyone sighed with relief, but I remember one thing clearly. Keo-san never once looked me in the eye during that visit. She kept gazing out the window, and when I asked gently, "How are you feeling?" she gave a faint smile and whispered, "It feels like I'm slowly drifting." 3 months later, she had lost more weight. Her clothes hung loosely. 1 month before her passing, she stopped chatting. She sat by the window, clutching a napkin, silent. On her final morning, Akemi found her still in her chair, peaceful. The napkin was still in her hand untouched. Beside her was a small note. "Thank you for taking care of me. I'm sorry I couldn't say more. I'm not telling you this story to make you afraid. I'm telling you this so you can wake up to the truth. The truth that the people we love often show us signs before their time comes. But those signs are quiet, almost invisible. And by the time we realize, it's too late to prepare, too late to hold their hand, too late to say what we needed to say." Why do so many families miss the warning signs? Death from old age rarely arrives like a thunderstorm. It begins subtly, gently, like the first yellowing leaves before autumn. You'll notice things like a fading appetite, longer naps during the day, less talking, less smiling, slower breathing, slight confusion or memory lapses, emotional flatness, frequent minor infections. According to a 2021 study from Japan's Geriatric Medicine Institute, approximately 72% of elderly patients exhibited at least 2 signs of irreversible decline 6 months before death. Yet over 60% of families failed to notice until the final days. These are what I call the silent signs of the final year. They don't announce themselves loudly. They come like whispers, and if you're too busy or too scared to listen, you'll miss them just like Akemi did. Who is this video for? If you have parents or grandparents over 70. If someone you love has been eating less, withdrawing, or losing energy. If you've told yourself, it's just old age, but your heart tells you something's different. Please watch this video until the very end. Because what I'm about to share may help you spot early signs of decline. Give you the chance to show love while there's still time. Teach you how to offer peace, not panic, in the final months of life. Some numbers you should know. According to the WHO, 85% of elderly people experience a gradual health decline 6 to 12 months before death. A recent survey at Kyoto University found that 83% of adults who lost a parent felt deep regret for not recognizing the early changes in time. Let me ask you, have you ever felt that kind of regret? If yes, please take a moment to comment below. I understand that feeling, because you're not alone. There are thousands walking this path, trying to balance love with helplessness, presence with fear. Sometimes all it takes to lighten that burden is knowing someone else feels it too. This video isn't about death, it's about love before goodbye. I know it's hard. It's terrifying to even think that your time with a loved one may be limited. But what's even more painful is letting that time pass without realizing it. And waking up one morning to silence and a table set for two, but only one chair occupied. What will you gain from this video? 5 warning signs that often appear a year before death, backed by medical science. Each sign explained with simple language, personal stories, and practical advice. Clear guidance on what you can do, emotionally and medically. A message of peace and acceptance so that when the time comes, you are ready, with love, not fear. A small gesture of love. If while watching this video, someone's face comes to mind, a parent, grandparent, mentor, friend, someone you love who is aging before your eyes, ... Please comment just their name, or even just an emoji. You don't have to explain. Just that symbol says, I see you, I remember. I'm still here. Who knows, someone reading that comment might be thinking of the same person. Let's begin together. Now, take a deep breath with me. We're about to walk through 5 powerful signs. Clues that someone you love may be nearing the final chapter of their life. It's not about giving up. It's about not missing out. Let's begin. With the very first, and often the most overlooked sign, unexplained weight loss. Sign number 1, unintentional weight loss. My mother is still eating normally, so why is she losing weight so fast? It's a question I hear all too often. And the answer, though painful, is this. Weight doesn't just reflect food intake. It reflects how the body is slowly shutting down. The story of Mr. Kenji and the shirt that no longer fit. Kenji-san, aged 78, was a meticulous man. Every morning he ironed his shirt, buttoned up his collar, even if he was only walking to the park. 3 months before he passed, he told me, my shirts all feel baggy, must be the fabric stretching. But it wasn't the fabric, it was his body shrinking quietly from within. His family said he still had porridge, milk, even soup. But in just 2 months, he lost 6 kilograms. When I examined him, arms were thinner, skin was dry, nails brittle. Classic signs of muscle wasting, poor absorption, and slowed metabolic function. This wasn't just aging, it was the body beginning to let go. The medical reality, explained simply, with age, the gut weakens, reducing nutrient absorption. Stomach acids decrease, so food isn't digested properly, gives no hunger cues. Liver and kidney function decline, gives detox slows, toxins accumulate. The immune system weakens, triggering chronic low-level inflammation. So even if an elderly person seems to eat normally, their body may no longer process or benefit from it, according to a 2022 study from Keio University. In adults over 75, unintentional weight loss of more than 5% in 3 months with no acute illness is associated with a 68% mortality rate within the following 12 months. This is a vital clinical indicator that inner vitality is in decline. What should you do if a loved one is losing weight? Don't force large meals. Focus on soft, digestible, nourishing options. Offer warm foods, oatmeal, vegetable soups, bone broth, soy milk. Ask your doctor about supplements, B12, hydrolyzed protein, digestive enzymes. And most importantly, don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it as just aging. A message from me: if you've ever watched a loved one put on an old shirt and it hangs too loose, if you've seen them quietly decline their favorite meal, please comment, I've seen that. Because you may have witnessed one of the body's softest yet saddest signals. And sometimes, love is the only proper response. Sign number 2, extreme fatigue and ongoing weakness. Just a few steps and my mother is gasping for air and has to sit down. I've heard that sentence more times than I can count. And when I do, I know this is not ordinary tiredness. It's the body pulling inward, conserving the last traces of energy. The story of Shizuko, the woman who once swept the garden every day. Shizuko was 81. Every morning she swept the yard, watered the flowers. She used to say, I do this so my hands won't forget how to move. But about 5 months before she passed away, she began sitting quietly just watching the garden, not touching it. Her daughter thought she was depressed or lazy. But that wasn't it. She simply didn't have the strength to move. Getting out of bed, Buttoning her shirt became a mountain to climb. During a routine visit, she held my hand gently and whispered, "I don't want to give up, but it feels like my body is falling asleep one piece at a time. Why does deep fatigue happen in late life? Poor circulation gives heart can't pump enough blood, gives muscles get less oxygen. Reduced lung capacity gives shallow breathing, gives low energy. Metabolism slows, gives body produces less ATP, the cells fuel. Lower dopamine and serotonin gives less motivation, more apathy. Chronic inflammation and infections silently drain the system." According to Nagoya University 2021, 91% of elderly patients who passed away within 1 year had experienced fatigue lasting over for weeks with no clear cause. What signs should you look for? Sleeping more, but still tired. Less interest in talking, going outside, or interacting. Needing rest after very small tasks. Drowsy, even while awake. A distant, faded look in their eyes like they're already somewhere else. What can you do if your loved one is deeply fatigued? Don't push them to stay active. Respect their limits. Let them guide the rhythm of their day. Sleep when they're sleepy. Eat when they have strength. Offer soft, emotional support. Ask, "Would you like me to sit beside you? Would you like some soft music or just the window open?" Prioritize nutritious, easy to digest meals plus natural light plus quiet environments. A message from me: if you've ever seen your loved one drift off mid-sentence, or if they needed to pause and breathe after just a few steps, please comment, "I've seen that." Not because it makes you weak, but because it shows how deeply you've loved. By simply being there, in their quietest hours. Sign number 3, cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal. My grandmother used to be so sharp, but lately she's been calling me the wrong name, then just stares off into space. Few things are more painful than looking into your parents' eyes and realizing they don't recognize you anymore. The story of Mr. Hayashi and the lost gaze in a familiar kitchen. Mr. Hayashi was 86. He used to memorize everything he could still recall, his wife's phone number from 1963. But one afternoon, something changed. He walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and froze. His wife asked, "What are you looking for?" He shook his head and said, "I forgot where I am." The room fell silent. From that day, he started repeating himself, forgetting meal times, mixing up names, withdrawing from family discussions. He wasn't angry. He was simply drifting away quietly. Why does confusion increase near the end of life? Decreased brain circulation gives less oxygen, gives weakened memory and orientation. Reduced neurotransmitters gives slow thinking and reaction. Silent progression of dementia, Alzheimer's, chronic inflammation. Emotional withdrawal triggered by stress, pain, or mental exhaustion. According to Tokyo University Hospital 2020, over 60% of elderly individuals experience subtle confusion and emotional withdrawal within 6 to 12 months of death, even if they had no prior dementia diagnosis. This is the brain saying, "I'm tired. I'm preparing to let go." Warning signs: repeating questions, forgetting names, losing sense of time. Long periods of silence or unresponsiveness. Disinterest in conversations or daily events. Sudden mood shifts, irritability or emotional numbness. A faraway, empty gaze as if looking into another world. What can you do? Don't correct or scold. Be patient. Call their name gently. Sit beside them. Hold their hand instead of overwhelming them with questions. Keep their surroundings familiar. Family photos, soft music, old memories. Consult a doctor if you suspect depression, minor strokes, or brain inflammation. A message from me: if you've ever seen a loved one sit silently in a room full of life, but their eyes seem to look past everything ... Please comment, "I've seen that gaze." Don't try to pull them back into our world. Instead, step into theirs with love. Because even when memory fades, emotion stays. Sign number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. It's just a small scratch. Why won't it heal? Has my mother really grown that weak? When we're young and healthy, wounds heal in days. But at a certain stage in aging, the body stops recovering. The story of Yumi and the scratch that never healed. Yumi was 84, a strong woman, full of spirit. One spring morning, she scratched her wrist because it itched. At first, the family ignored it, but 10 days past the wound stayed open. It began to swell, ooze, and spread redness down her arm. The doctor diagnosed a chronic skin infection caused by simple bacteria. Her body no longer had the strength to fight them off. After that, even a cold kept her in bed for a week. Her immune system had faded, long before her heartbeat ever stopped. Why do infections and wounds last longer in the elderly? Weakened immune system gives fewer white cells and antibodies. Poor circulation gives wounds get less oxygen and nutrients. Thinner skin gives tears easily, heals slowly. Underlying conditions: diabetes, kidney, heart disease, slow healing further. Antibiotics less effective as the body becomes less responsive, according to Japan's Center for Geriatric Medicine 2023. For adults over 80, infections that last more than 10 days without improving raise the 6-month mortality risk by 53%. Especially infections like pneumonia, UTIs, and minor skin abscesses. Watch for these signs: recurring colds, coughs, low-grade fevers. Minor cuts that stay open beyond 7 days. Red, swollen, or weeping skin without clear trauma. Fatigue or reduced appetite following even mild infections. What can you do? Don't panic, but don't ignore. Clean wounds with saline. Apply doctor-recommended ointments. Maintain hygiene, skin, oral care, intimate areas, especially for bedbound loved ones. Encourage hydration and anti-inflammatory foods: onion soup, turmeric, salmon, leafy greens. Consult a doctor if infections occur more than twice a month. A message from me: if you've ever noticed a tiny wound that seemed to slow to heal, and you realized they're no longer healing like they used to, please comment. I saw that wound and it hurt my heart too. Because sometimes a scratch isn't just a scratch. It's the body saying, I'm tired. I don't have the strength to heal myself anymore. Sign number 5, changes in breathing and circulation, the body's final whisper. My mother started breathing slower, then faster again. And her feet were so cold I couldn't let go. There's a moment many geriatric doctors fear. When the body no longer tries to resist, but begins to let go. And often, it's not in words, it's in the way someone breathes. It's in the temperature of their hands. The story of Mr. Satoshi and the breath that drifted away. Mr. Satoshi was 85, a retired physics teacher. He used to draw diagrams for his grandchildren, explaining nature on a little chalkboard in the living room. 1 week before he passed, his breathing became so light, you could barely hear it. His son thought he was sleeping soundly, but I knew. This was the final rhythm, the breath slowing down, step by step. On his last day, I visited. I held his hand. It was ice cold. I placed my palm on his chest. His breath was there, but as light as a falling leaf. What's happening inside the body? Heart weakening gives less blood flows to limbs, gives hands and feet turn cold, bluish. Lung capacity reduced gives shallow or irregular breathing. A pattern called Cheyne-Stokes respiration may appear. Gives rapid breathing, a pause, gasping, then slowing again. The body redirects blood to vital organs, leaving skin cold and pale. The system shifts into energy preservation mode, according to the Japan Geriatric Association 2023. In 78% of elderly deaths at home, changes in breathing and circulation were the earliest signs that the body had entered its final phase. What should you watch for? Breathing that's shallow, then suddenly fast. Gurgling or wheezing sounds in the chest, cold hands, feet, nose, or ears. Bluish or mottled skin, especially on extremities. Needing to sit up or lie on one side just to breathe comfortably. What can you do during this phase? Don't force them to sit up or take deep breaths. It will only exhaust them. Ensure cool, fresh air, a gentle fan or humidifier can help. Support side lying or reclined positions. Avoid lying flat. Wipe hands and feet with warm towels. Keep skin clean and dry. If recommended, light oxygen support may ease discomfort, but most of all, let them feel safe. A message from me: if you've ever held a parent's hand as it slowly turned cold, if you've ever watched every breath, praying it's not the last, please comment, "I was there, I never let go." Because there are moments when we can't stop someone from leaving, but we can make sure they don't leave alone. When love becomes the softest goodbye. And so, we've walked together through 5 quiet but powerful signs that often appear in the final year of an elderly loved one's life. 1. Unintentional weight loss, when the body stops absorbing nutrients. 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness, when even small tasks become exhausting. 3. Cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal, when the mind starts to fade. 4. Frequent infections and slow healing, when the immune system falls silent. 5. Changes in breathing and circulation, when the body gently prepares to say goodbye. I know none of us are ever ready to say farewell. But after walking alongside thousands of families, I've learned this truth. What comforts the dying the most is not medicine, but your presence. You don't need to do something extraordinary. You just need a hand to hold when there's tremble. A story from the past told in a quiet afternoon, a gentle look, without judgment, and the words, "I'm here, you're not alone." If you've ever witnessed any of these 5 signs, please leave a comment below. You don't have to explain. Just write, "I understand," or simply leave an emoji to let someone else know they're not alone either. If this video has helped you see things differently, please share it with someone you care about. You may give them time. Time to love, to prepare, and to part without regret. Thank you for walking this path with me. I am Dr. Hoshino Daisuke, and I believe death is inevitable. But saying goodbye can still be gentle, warm, and full of love.